Top 3 foods to boost circulation down there after 60 for energy, performance, and vitality. They say a man dies twice, first when his heart stops beating, and second when he no longer feels like a real man. That might sound harsh, but I've witnessed this happen to thousands of my patients over the past 35 years. And you know what worries me most? For most men over 60, the first sign of declining health isn't memory loss or a weak heart. It's when their most intimate area starts to stop cooperating, when the body no longer responds like it used to, when confidence begins to shake, and when they start wondering if they're still themselves. I'm Dr. Marcus Rivera, a men's health specialist in urology with 35 years of experience. I've had the privilege of treating thousands of men across the country, from successful CEOs to simple fathers who just want to feel strong again. And after all those years, I've discovered something that might surprise you. The problem most men face after 60 isn't due to age, isn't due to genetics, and certainly isn't because they're past their prime. The real cause is sitting right there in your kitchen, and it's so simple you can start making changes today. Today, I'm going to share with you 3 scientifically proven foods that can completely transform how blood flows to the most important area of your body. Not pills, not surgery, just things you can find at any grocery store. And the best part? One of them can show you results in just a few days. Before we begin, if you're a man over 60 who wants to naturally regain your strength, confidence, and that youthful feeling, hit subscribe and ring that notification bell right now. And don't forget to share this video with friends who might need this too. Sometimes the right information at the right time can change someone's entire life. If this video helps you, comment the number 1. If I haven't convinced you yet, comment 0 and let me know how I can help you. Now, let's discover the first food that could completely transform your life. Now, I want to tell you about a vegetable that I never thought could change a man's life. It's deep red in color, often overlooked in the grocery store, and most people only know it as a salad ingredient. But for me, beetroot has become what I call nature's circulation powerhouse. About 2 years ago, I had a patient named Robert, a 67-year-old retired engineer who had spent his entire life designing bridges, but couldn't rebuild his confidence in the bedroom. He came to see me looking defeated, telling me that while his wife remained loving and patient, he felt like he'd lost an essential part of himself. Robert had tried everything from medications to expensive treatments, but nothing provided lasting results. So I suggested something completely different. Try drinking fresh beetroot juice every morning for a month. At first, Robert looked at me like I was joking, but then he decided to give it a shot. 4 weeks later, Robert returned with a smile I'd never seen on his face before. He wasn't just feeling more energetic, but, well, let him tell you. "Doc, I don't know what kind of magic you worked, but I feel like I'm 20 years younger." And the special part was that his wife noticed the change too. What's the secret? Beetroot contains high levels of natural nitrates. When you eat or drink beetroot juice, your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, a miracle molecule that I like to call the golden key to your circulation system. Nitric oxide has one simple but incredibly important job. It tells your blood vessels to relax and widen. Think of your blood vessel system like a network of pipes. After age 60, these pipes start to stiffen and narrow, just like when buildup accumulates in your home's plumbing. The result is that blood has trouble flowing, especially to the most important areas. And that's exactly when you start to feel different. But when nitric oxide is produced adequately, it works like a professional repair crew, helping those pipes become flexible and open again. Blood flows more freely, carrying oxygen and nutrients everywhere they're needed. And when your intimate area receives adequate blood flow, everything works like it did in your youth. The problem is that after 60, your body's ability to produce nitric oxide drops dramatically. It can decrease by up to 50% compared to when you were 30. This isn't something you can feel immediately, but it silently affects every aspect of men's health, from firmness to stamina. Beetroot is nature's answer to this problem. You don't need to complicate things. One glass of fresh beetroot juice in the morning, before breakfast, will start jump-starting your circulation for the entire day. Or, if you prefer eating it, try roasting beetroot and adding it to your evening salad. Its natural sweetness will surprise you. But beetroot is just the beginning. There's another fruit that most men throw away the most important part of, never knowing that they're holding nature's Viagra right in their hands. The fruit I'm about to tell you about might be sitting in your refrigerator right now, but I bet you've been throwing away the most important part of it without even knowing. In over 3 decades of practice, I've seen countless men spend thousands of dollars on medications with terrible side effects, while the answer was surprisingly simple, and it's sweet, juicy, and completely natural. I'm talking about watermelon, but not the way you've always eaten it. About a year ago, I had a patient named James, a 64-year-old retired police officer who had spent 30 years of his life protecting the community, but now he couldn't protect his own masculine pride. James told me he felt like he was living in a stranger's body. Everything that used to be strong and confident had become weak and uncertain. He had tried Viagra, but the headaches and irregular heartbeats scared him. "Doc," James said to me, "I don't want to have to choose between feeling like a man or worrying about having a heart attack." So I gave James advice that sounded strange at first. Next time you eat watermelon, don't throw away the white rind. Put everything in the blender, both the sweet red flesh and that white part you always toss out. James looked at me skeptically, but 2 weeks later he called me with an excitement in his voice I'd never heard from him before. "Doc, I don't know what was in that watermelon that worked magic, but my wife says she feels like she's been transported back 20 years. The secret lies in a compound called citrulline, concentrated highest in that white rind that most of us throw away. Citrulline is a special amino acid that works almost exactly like those expensive pills, but it's completely natural and has no side effects. When citrulline enters your body, it's converted to arginine, then to nitric oxide, that same golden key we talked about with beetroot. But what's special about watermelon is how citrulline works. It doesn't just open up the major blood vessels, but focuses on the smallest, most delicate vessels, the express lanes that carry blood directly to the area you care about most. Imagine your blood vessel system like a city with many roads. While beetroot helps widen the main highways, citrulline and watermelon specializes in clearing the small streets and back alleys, ensuring that no traffic jams can prevent blood from reaching its destination. And here's the best part. Unlike pills that can cause headaches, nausea, or even serious heart problems, watermelon only brings benefits. You'll never have to worry about, can my heart handle this, or should I take this medication? It's simply watermelon. James has now become a self-proclaimed watermelon expert. Every morning he blends a smoothie from both the sweet red flesh and the white rind. "I tell my wife this is my morning vitamin," he laughs, and she completely agrees. The method is really simple. When you cut watermelon, instead of throwing away the rind, just trim off the green outer layer and keep the white part. Put both the red and white parts in the blender. Add some ice and maybe a little lemon to balance the taste. You'll have a smoothie that's not only delicious, but more powerful than any medication on the market. But we're not stopping there. There's one more thing I want to share with you. Something that most men completely overlook, but contains exactly the minerals your body craves to maintain strength and confidence. And this thing is so small you can carry it in your pocket. The tiny thing I'm about to share with you will probably make you think I've lost my mind. It's so small you can hold a handful in your palm, costs less than a cup of coffee, and most people throw them away every Halloween. But these little seeds contain 3 super minerals that a man's body over 60 craves most. And I'd bet 99% of other doctors don't even know about this. I'm talking about pumpkin seeds, and they're the most powerful natural mineral treasure chest for male strength I've ever discovered. About 6 months ago, I had a special patient, William, age 72, a former military pilot who had flown fighter jets in the Vietnam War. This was a man who was used to controlling every situation, but he came to see me with the deepest disappointment of his life. "Doc," William said with a trembling voice, "I used to fly through the sky at the speed of sound. I've faced death hundreds of times, but now I can't feel like I'm still a man anymore. My wife says it's okay, but I know it's not, and it's killing me every day." What happened to William wasn't unusual for someone 70 plus, but what worried me was how rapidly everything was declining. After testing, I discovered he was severely deficient in 3 critical minerals: magnesium, zinc, and arginine. This is the golden trio that every man needs to maintain masculine strength. Instead of prescribing medication, I handed William a small bag of pumpkin seeds and said, "Eat 1 tablespoon of these seeds every day, and we'll meet again in 3 weeks." William looked at me like I'd just suggested he use magic to cure his condition, but with the discipline of a military man, he decided to follow through. 3 weeks later, I barely recognized the man who walked into my office. William stood straight, his eyes were bright and clear, and most importantly, he smiled with a confidence I'd never seen before. "Doc," he said, "I don't know what's in those little seeds, but I feel like I'm 30 years younger." The secret lies in how these 3 minerals work together like a special forces team. Magnesium acts as the commanding officer. It orders your blood vessels to relax and prevents those uncomfortable muscle tensions that many men experience. Zinc plays the role of testosterone guardian, maintaining and even boosting your most important male hormone. And arginine? That's your advanced scout, supporting nitric oxide production, ensuring blood can always get to the right place at the right time. William now always carries a small bag of pumpkin seeds in his shirt pocket. I sprinkle them on my morning oatmeal, add them to smoothies, or just eat a handful while watching TV, he says. It's that simple, but the results are unbelievable. And here's the most fascinating part. When you combine pumpkin seeds with the beetroot and watermelon we just talked about, something magical happens. It's not just adding up the benefits, but a powerful chain reaction that I call the circulation super trio. Imagine your body like an F1 race car. Beetroot is the engine. It kickstarts everything by boosting nitric oxide, widening the racetrack for blood flow. Watermelon is the steering system. It navigates blood to exactly the right turns and smallest side streets you need. And pumpkin seeds? They're the premium fuel, providing all the minerals necessary to keep this engine running smoothly and powerfully. When all 3 work together, they create an effect I've witnessed that can change a man's life in just a few weeks. It's no accident that William felt like he'd been rejuvenated by 30 years. That's the result of giving your body exactly what it needs to function like it did in your youth. The beautiful thing is, you don't need to overthink it. Morning, 1 glass of beetroot juice. Midday, 1 watermelon smoothie with the white rind. Evening, 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds. That's simple, but the impact will be remarkable. But I have to warn you about something. There's one huge mistake that most men make, and it can destroy all your efforts right from the start. It's something I see happening with 8 out of 10 of my patients, and if you don't avoid this mistake, no amount of good food can save you. And here's the massive mistake I mentioned, the mistake that 80% of men over 60 are making right now, and it's silently destroying not just their health but their confidence. I've seen this happen thousands of times, and it breaks my heart every single time. What's this mistake? It's looking for the magic pill instead of addressing the problem at its root. Let me tell you about Michael, a 66-year-old businessman who built a real estate empire from nothing. Michael was the type of person who always looked for the fastest, most efficient solution to every problem. When his manhood issues started appearing, he did what most CEOs do. He sought out the most high-tech solution available. "Dr. Rivera," Michael told me during his first visit, "I've tried Viagra, Cialis, even the most expensive medications on the market. At first they seemed to work, but now," he paused, looking down at the floor, "now I feel like I'm living on life support. Every time I want to feel like a man, I have to swallow a pill and pray it will work." This is exactly the trap that the pharmaceutical industry has created. They sell you the illusion of an instant solution, but they're really just masking symptoms, not curing the problem. Viagra and Cialis are like using duct tape to patch a leaking pipe. It might temporarily stop the leak, but the pressure in the pipe will keep building until the entire system collapses. Even worse, Michael started experiencing side effects that nobody warned him about. Severe headaches, heart palpitations that scared him, and worst of all, an artificial feeling that prevented him from truly enjoying intimate moments with his wife. "I feel like a fraud in my own body," Michael confessed. "It's not real strength, it's just temporary chemistry." The truth is, Michael's problem, and the problem of millions of other men, isn't that their body is broken. The problem is that the body is being starved of the essential nutrients it needs to heal and recover. Like a car that doesn't have a broken engine but is just missing gas, oil, missing maintenance. So I proposed a challenge to Michael. Give me 7 days, just 7 days, to prove that your body can heal itself without needing any pills whatsoever. Michael looked at me skeptically, but with the entrepreneurial spirit always ready to experiment, he agreed. And here's the exact 7-day plan I gave him. A plan so simple that anyone can follow. Day 1, Michael woke up and did something he never thought he'd do: drink a glass of fresh beetroot juice on an empty stomach. "I felt a bit weird," he said, "but I promised I'd stick with it." By 10 a.m., instead of his usual 3rd cup of coffee, Michael made a watermelon smoothie, including that white rind he'd been throwing away for all 66 years of his life. "Tastier than I expected," he admitted. In the evening, instead of unhealthy snacks, Michael ate a small handful of fresh pumpkin seeds. Simple, natural, no complicated thinking required. But the most important thing I asked Michael to do wasn't about eating. It was about changing his mindset. "Every morning when you wake up," I told him, "remind yourself, my body isn't broken. My body is just learning to be strong again." On day 3, Michael called me. "Doc, something's changing. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel different." Day 5, he reported having his first wonderful morning in months. On day 7, his wife called to thank me. "Dr. Rivera," Michael said during his follow-up visit, "I can't believe it. Just by giving my body what it needs instead of forcing it to do what I want, everything has completely changed." This 7-day plan isn't magic, it's simple science. Morning beetroot jump-starts your circulation for the entire day. Mid-morning watermelon keeps blood flow smooth and flexible. Evening pumpkin seeds provide fuel for testosterone and other crucial hormones. And most importantly, this is a lifestyle, not a temporary treatment. Michael no longer depends on any pills. He's regained his confidence, his strength, and most importantly, the real feeling of being a man. But Michael's story is just the beginning, because this isn't just about physical function. This is about taking back control of your life, about feeling strong and confident in your own skin. And I want to share with you why this matters more than anything else you can do for your health. And now, I want to tell you the most important thing I've learned after 35 years of treating thousands of men. It's not about numbers on lab tests, not about complicated medical terminology, but about a simple truth that every man needs to hear. You are not broken, you are not too old to change, and most importantly, you don't have to accept that your best days are behind you. I've seen 75-year-old men regain strength they thought was lost forever. I've witnessed husbands, fathers, and grandfathers rediscover pride in their own bodies simply by understanding that age is not a death sentence for masculinity. Let me tell you about Frank, a 78-year-old retired teacher who came to see me with heartbreaking words. "Doc, I feel like a ghost in my own home." Frank had been married for 52 years, but he felt like he was no longer the man his wife had fallen in love with and married. 6 months after applying what we just shared today, Frank called me with a voice full of joy. "Doc, my wife says she feels like she's dating again with that 25-year-old guy she met 53 years ago." This isn't just about physical function. This is about feeling like you're still a real man. This is about looking in the mirror every morning and seeing strength instead of weakness. This is about walking into a room with confidence, knowing your body won't betray you. Too many people in society today want you to believe that ages 60, 70, 80 are times to sit down and accept reality. They want you to believe that strength, passion, and intimate connection are privileges of youth. But I've spent my entire career proving that this is completely wrong. Your body is a miraculous self-healing machine. Whether you're 62, 72, or even 82, the cells in your body are still renewing themselves every day. Your blood vessels can still become flexible and responsive. Hormones can still be balanced. Confidence can still be restored. The only thing you need to do is stop starving your body of the nutrients it's begging you to provide. If you followed along this far, I want to thank you. Not because you've spent time watching my video, but because you've spent time investing in yourself. In a world where too many men feel abandoned and forgotten, the fact that you're sitting here, listening, and ready to change, that says everything about who you are. Together we've explored 3 simple but powerful superfoods. Beetroot, your natural circulation powerhouse, kickstarting everything with precious nitric oxide. Watermelon, especially that white rind you've been throwing away, is the supercharger for your smallest and most important blood vessels. And tiny pumpkin seeds, the mineral treasure chest, providing magnesium, zinc, and arginine that your testosterone is craving. But more important than these foods, we've talked about changing your mindset. From "I'm too old" to "I'm learning to be strong again." From "my body is broken" to "my body just needs to be nourished properly." And I want to remind you of one final thing. There's no age limit on joy, on connection, on feeling loved and desired. These aren't privileges of youth. They're birthrights of every man, regardless of age. If what I've shared today has touched your heart, if you feel a spark of new hope, hit that like button to let me know. And don't keep this to yourself. Share this video with friends, with brothers who might also need to hear this message. Sometimes the right video at the right time can change someone's entire life. Comment below and share your story. Have you tried these foods? What results have you seen? Your story could become an inspiration for thousands of other men watching this channel. We're not alone in this journey. We're a community of men determined to take back control of our lives. And if videos like this are valuable to you, if you want me to continue researching and sharing natural, safe methods to help men over 60 feel strong again, please consider supporting this channel. Every small contribution helps me spend more time researching, providing free consultations to those who need it, and creating more quality content for our community. Thank you for trusting me enough to share over 20 precious minutes of your life. Thank you for deciding to invest in yourself. And most importantly, thank you for refusing to accept that your best days are over. Because the truth is, they're just beginning.